All right, this is Dale here. Welcome to Waxworks. I'm going to do an old school team creation for a game I just released, the Era Sports Football. Okay. The PDFs are, Jason put those up. You can access them free from his files. So, unfortunately, my attempts at doing it on the computer, my OBS keeps failing me mid video. So you won't get to see what's on the computer, and I've already did like 4 teams, but I did want to show you how to create one real quick. Okay. So basically what we're looking at here is primarily Jason's EG engine prompted me to develop this, right? So it's a bit of a hybrid between EGE and the Gridiron chart system. By that I mean Gridiron, it's drive by drive. You can resolve it fairly quickly with one roll usually. And sometimes there's situations that pop up to where you have to go to another chart. This is similar, being that whenever you roll the 2d6 to go along the bell curve, on the ladder I call it, it will tell you what kind of game transpired. Now this era system will resolve a full game with 2 d6s rolled together. So you got from 2 to 12 that happens, and most time it's going to be, there's more opportunities for combinations of dice to have 7 more so than the rest. 6. The further out you go to extremes, it's less percentage of chance this is going to happen. So when you look at the ladder, you've got on the higher end, you've got more of an offensive shootout that happens, and on the lower end, it's more of a defensive slugfest that occurs. Okay, when you roll in and you create these teams, the first thing you do, and it just takes 1d6 to roll 4 times to create your team. The first d6 you roll, all right, 2. Let's call this the Leathernecks. This is the team. So we got the environment. What this essentially means is where the team, where they're at their most fit on this ladder, by being from totally like in a defensive slugfest to an offensive shootout, or in the middle where most games typically fall back and forth a little bit. You see how the game transpired, then you look at the team and find out what along the ladder where they excel at, and you compare each, and it usually determines the winner right then and there. And you will look at their statistics. Now, how you get that is when you're creating the team, this environment, we're going to roll 1d6, and it's a 5. 5, when you look at the chart, is aggressive. So they're aggressive team. And what aggressive means, when you look at the chart, it means that 9 is already predetermined. 9 and 10, they're at their peak. I call it normal. They're at 8 or 11. They're at the normal. So basically, you're looking at 9 and 10 along that from 2 to 12. They're at their peak. 8 and 11 at normal. Everything else is reduced, which essentially is 2 through 7 and 12. All right. So whenever you roll that 2d6 compared to, you just compare who they're up against, and you get a winner there. Now, but it could be locked. So now we go to execution, because it may depend on which team executed better than the other team. Execution is determined by rolling a d6. This team got a 4. On a 1 or 2, their execution score is a 2. On a 3, it's a 3. On a 4 or 5, it's a 4. Or on a 6, it's a 5. That's all. So I said on a 4 or 5, it's a 4. This team executes at a 4. Not too shabby. Now we go to the next one, which is specialty. And this is just a list of descriptors telling where their specialty is. And you're also going to have the team's weakness, their Achilles heel, as it were. But roll a d6 for specialty. This is a 6. And it's special teams. And then you got your weakness. All right, so we're going to go to weakness, and it's a 3. Weakness is turnover prone. They're prone to turnovers. Now, there are 2 on the document. There's 2 combinations you can have of weaknesses and specialty that, you can't have them both for one team. So if that presents itself, you would just re-roll the weakness, all right? So, like, for example, a finisher, if the team's a finisher on their specialty, and the kicker, poor finishing in the kicker, that can't work. So if they get a specialty with a kicker kicker and bad kicking. Sorry, I'm reading that backwards. And finisher and poor finishing, you can't have those coupled together. So you could just re-roll them. But that's listed right at the end of the chart. So just in those 2 circumstances, you have to re-roll and get something that makes the team more cogently. And, now let's make another one real quick. Say the bruisers. So the environment that they're at is 3, which means they're physical. They're a physical team. It's what primarily, so they peak performance is 6. Normal, 7. Reduced is everything else. Okay, so you got 1, 2 through 5, and 8 through 12. They're reduced. It's just everything else. If you don't hit the peak or the normal, you get that. So this is execution. We roll the dice. Like I said, it's a 6. Woo, 6. Execution's 5. All right. Then let's go to specialty. Weakness. Specialty again is 3. So their specialty is a kicker, actually. And weakness is 3, which would be turnover prone. There's no issue there. So both of these teams are prone to turnovers. Don't mean it's going to transpire, but whenever you compare a team's weakness and their against another team's strengths or specialty, and vice versa, it would be a determiner of who actually won between the 2 contestants. That's how you make a team. It's literally rolling a d6 4 times, looking at the chart and writing it out for that team. Put them on 3x5 cards.